Um, his name is Christian Gill from Scarf. He has been to our summits before, and we loved having him, so we want to call him again. He's a senior software engineer at Scarf, which is a very interesting company, and he will give us a great talk today on how's a day in the life of a software engineer, so you guys can understand a little bit more about the day today. So, welcome. And you're on mute as well.
Of course, that's how online meetings go, right?
Exactly.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, yes. Great.
Nice. I have some slides. Yeah, perfect. Um, well, so the day in the life of a software engineer, um, I think there is like a lot to talk about it. You will probably seen you have probably seen like these videos online where they go through the day and show you how to make their coffee in the morning and join meetings and so on. I won't do that, but I'll tell you like a few key aspects. I recently joined Piñata, so I'm working at Piñata now. Sorry, Isadora, I didn't update that, but I work there. Piñata is a company that does task management for real world work, so management of like on-site marketing projects and such. And I do the front end and the back end, a little bit of both. So some will say that this is like full stack. And as how does my day look like? Well, in my case, I work remotely. I work fully remotely. My closest colleague lives 2 countries away. In Poland, I live in the Netherlands, so it's fully remote. But if you were going to the office, that will look a bit differently. And it also depends if the company you work at is more focused on the social aspects of work, or it's only there for work and that's it. When I used to go to the office in my previous like on-site job, there were a lot of activities after work, like social activities like going to arts museums, or maybe playing sports or something like that. So it depends also on the type of company and the culture of the company. But the work itself of a software engineer is about solving problems. And you will work together with different people in different domains to solve those problems. You will have designers working for you, or other software engineers that work, maybe someone that does like the mobile application, someone that does the backend, someone that works on the front end. um, so you will communicate and work together with these people, and these problems might be like product and business related, where you are trying to improve the experience of the product for your users. Or there might be technical problems, like trying to maybe optimize how your application is deployed, so it, or your the test of your application runs, so they go faster and you can see the feedback of your work much faster, or trying to integrate a new library or a new framework into your tech stack. So the problems are different, but that's basically your work. As I mentioned, I work remotely, so in my case, and my team is mostly in the US, besides this colleague here in Europe. So my mornings are usually solo. I work alone in the morning. I do more of a deep work, focusing on trying to solve the problem at hand. Maybe I will pair with my colleague, or continue alone on my own. One thing I really like about working in tech in general, not only as a software engineer, is the fact that it's really flexible. And as I mentioned, with these different types of companies, you are able to choose the culture of where you want to work for. Maybe you want to do like 9 to 5 work and that's it, or maybe you want to work later in the evenings and you can find a company that it's really dynamic and lets you work in the hours that you would like to work, or maybe you want to do stuff in the weekend and have one day in the week free. That you can find different things like that. In my case, one of the things I like of this flexibility is the option to relocate. So I'm from Argentina. I was working there for around 4 years or 3 years. Did my first few jobs in Argentina, and then with my wife we decided to relocate to Europe. And I got an offer, and we moved here. And thanks to the work, that was possible in a very straightforward way without going through a lot of hoops in immigration and so on. And now I work remotely. After living in a big city for a few years, we got tired and we moved to a small town. I found a remote job that I can do it from home. And I'm close to the nature, so I can, like, 15 minutes away. This is where I took this picture. I can walk with the dog in the fields, and then go back to continue working. So I really like this flexibility. For you, you might want to maybe live close to the center and be close to the museums, or be ready to do a lot of social activities, or you want to live in a city that, I don't know, is close to the beach, and you want to enjoy a nice weather. I think these are really nice opportunities that you can have by either working remotely or finding a job in a place where you want to move. Um, Another key aspects of software is, as I mentioned, is working with the team. Also, collaboration and communication is key. Here, you will work with teammates that are doing the same thing as you, and you will try to solve the problems together. Maybe you will have sessions where you plan how to solve a certain problem, and then you will implement it yourself, or a colleague of yours will implement it, or you will have paid programming sessions and tackle a technical problem together. You will also have sessions collaborating with designers. Let's say you work in the front end side of the application, and you will have also feedback about the experience of the user and what can be done and what cannot be done. Maybe the designers come with some crazy idea to make some really flashy design, and you will tell them this will take a lot of work or something like that. But there will be a lot of collaboration. This will, as I mentioned, uh, look different depending on the company. Some companies will have a lot of meetings and do synchronous work and solve um, these problems together on the spot. And some other companies prefer a more asynchronous style where everybody collaborates, maybe on Notion or in Google Docs, and you put your comments, your thoughts, and maybe you sleep overnight and think about it, and come up with maybe another suggestion or better idea. So it really depends on, like, the type of team. Usually, if you work on site, or maybe you work a few days in the office, you will have more meetings that are focused on, like, leveraging the fact that you are face to face with your peers. Um, at the moment, I don't have a lot of meetings at my work in Piñata, so that's something I personally like. I'm not a fan of having a lot of meetings. I do like to have, like, one-on-one paid programming sessions, like, ad hoc when you need. But in general, you will find that some companies have a lot of meetings in, well, I don't know if you like it or not, but there are these formalities that's part of the job. um, and things like writing reports or performance reviews that you will do, or maybe helping in interviews to new colleagues, that new potential colleagues. So those are different things that you will do as well. um, at the moment, I recently joined Piñata, as I mentioned, so I have a lot of pair programming sessions with my colleagues to learn about the systems and the domain and the product. And this is something that usually happens, like, in the first 1 or 2 months when you join a new team or a new company, and you have to get up to speed with the project. Um, Besides that, I personally really like to write code, and I do it as a hobby as well. And something that it's important to keep in mind is that you have to keep learning. Like, technology is changing all the time. The tech stack that they, like, the technology and the projects, sorry, no, the frameworks teach me, they taught me in college were very different to the one I use today. So you have to continue learning. And yeah, technology goes fast. So if you like to do small side projects or conference or go to meetups, I really recommend you do it, because it will help you to stay up to date with the trends in the industry and what the industry is looking for. Um, an example, when I started doing front end, like uh, around 7 years ago, nobody was talking about TypeScript, and today it's maybe like a big requirement if you want to work on the front end side. So yeah, you have to stay up to date, and if you like it, it can also be fun, sorry, to do side projects and activities like that. An example of something that my previous company used to do every December, there is this Advent of Code event where it's like an advent calendar where you solve problems every day, and we were competing to each other doing it after work hours, and it was a nice activity. And it helped us to stay sharp on like algorithms and solving problems. Um, so that's more or less, I think I went very fast, but that's more or less like different aspects of the day. um, as a recap, working in tech and as a software engineer specifically brings you amazing opportunities, be it to work on a project or a company that you really like and you really resonate with the product and what they're doing and what they're trying to solve or how they're trying to help the clients. Or maybe it means that you can work remotely and travel. There are all sorts of opportunities that you will find. The work itself is about solving problems. So if you like to do that, you will have fun in working as a software engineer. It's really exciting when you are in this process of, stuck on a solution, but then you find it and you feel good about it. Um, it's Although it's about solving problems, I think people are as important as writing the code, and maybe more important, the communication that you have with your colleagues and the collaboration will really make the work more interesting. uh, and because of that, communication is really important. um, as as I said, with the opportunities, it's flexible, so you can make it work for you. um, you can find the type of work that you like to do, and that adapts to your expectations. There's also boring stuff, maybe meetings or reports or things that you personally don't like, but that's with every job. So no matter what you do, there will be always boring stuff. um, and you will always have to keep learning, and yeah, remember that. I think it's it's also a really interesting part of the job, at least personally for me. If I was doing the same thing and using the same technology for like 10 years, I think I will really get bored. I couldn't do it. So um, I like to keep like finding new things to do and new tools that are added to the tech stack to solve problems. And I think that is also really cool. Um, and I think, yeah, that's it. I don't know if there are questions. Otherwise, you can find me on Twitter if you have like a specific question.
I was on mute as well. I have a question here that says,
Yes.
"Hi, I'm a project lead and planning to be a technical manager. So, what would you suggest me to do?"
As if you want to be a technical manager, it depends how technically you want to get involved. Um, if you want to collaborate on the more like software and architectural decisions, you want to go pretty deep into that aspect. If you want to do it more from the product side, I think it's still good to learn, to have an idea of what the engineers in the team are doing, um, to be able to understand their work, and to be able to help them in their needs. So
Okay.
learning either a little bit or very deep, depending on the needs, it's going to be required.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming again and talking to us. It was great having you. I'm sure everyone will benefit a lot.
Thank you for
Um,
the invitation.
thank you. So